Rwanda has a very special story. How do you see the future of Rwanda?
The only future, good future for Rwanda is a truth and reconciliation. Rwandans have got to have the courage to sit down around the table, say the truth. As Reverend Jesse Jackson said, the only solution for lasting peace for Rwanda is a Truth and Reconciliation Commission as it happened in South Africa.
The government has already set up a reconciliation process, the Gachacha process. What's wrong with that?
There is something wrong with anything that excludes the word truth. In Rwanda, with the Rwandan government, it appears as if the truth, the word truth, hurts somewhere. And as long as that word hurts, will never reach anywhere. Rwandans, both sides, Hutus have killed Tutsis, Tutsis have also killed Hutus. These people, this wounded nation, need, in order to heal, to sit down. Those who offended each other need to sit down around a table, honestly discuss their problems and find solutions.
You've set up a foundation, the foundation which is launching a process to create the Truth and Reconciliation process. How are you going about with this?
Well, we started this in Chicago. This was on September 8th this year, 2 months ago, under the patronage of Reverend Jesse Jackson. And yesterday, we held another meeting here in Brussels. Our intention is to go all over Europe, maybe in the next step be Paris or London, later on to Africa, and my belief is that after that time, we'll also go to Rwanda, because Rwandans have got to sit down and talk. In my life, I believe in the powers of words, because only words can save lives, but also, as I say, words can also kill lives, depending on what we want to achieve as goals or objectives. And this time, we can use our words to save a nation, a wounded nation.
You're very famous worldwide. The movie Hotel Rwanda made you famous, yet in Rwanda, your name is a taboo. Do you have any political ambitions? Because the sense is that Paul Kagame, as Rwandan president, fears that there could be opposition.
Well, I don't see any good reason why Paul cannot be a politician. I'm not telling you this because I'm one. I'm not a politician. But I don't know whether there is any Rwandan who is not allowed to be involved in his politics, the politics of his country.
Why do you think Paul Kagame and his government consider you so much of a threat?
He considers me so much of a threat because I speak out. I speak out about all the atrocities that had taken place prior to the genocide. I speak about the genocide, how it happened, but I cannot keep silent to what is going on in Rwanda today. And today, he is the leader of that country. And we know, even according to humanitarian association or organizations' reports, in Rwanda, today, the police arrests people and immediately kills them. I refer you to Human Rights Watch report. The title is, "There Be No Trial." Why? Because those people who are arrested are immediately killed by the police. So there be no trials because those people do no more exist. They have been killed. So as a humanitarian then, I can never keep silent, because silence to me is agreement. Silence is a complicity. I did not keep silent before 1994. In 1994, during the genocide, I never kept silent. I used my words to help people in the Milles Collines, where I had 1,268 people. And fortunately, we happened, all of us, to get out alive. So today, I won't keep silent.
How do you feel? It must be heart-wrenching for you to see that Paul Kagame's book is pushed in the stores at the Milles Collines and your book is completely ignored.
Well, that is history. This is what we want to avoid in the history of our country. We want to avoid one taking over the power, getting everything for him or her, and the others getting out. In 1959, we saw such things happening. When Tutsis who were on power were kicked out of the country, all of them, and anything, any souvenir about the country was completely erased. This is how Nyanza, the former capital of Rwanda, became Nyabisindu. It was not Nyabisindu before, but they wanted each and everything to be forgotten. In 1994, when Kagame took over, all the other people who were in power, all the other people who were leading the enterprises were kicked out, and newcomers took over everything. We are fed up by seeing people get into power, others going out.
You're saying despite the look on the surface, the cleanliness on the street, the relative happiness and openness for tourists and foreigners, you're saying that's just the surface, and on the surface there's a lot brewing. Is Rwanda a dictatorship?
Rwanda is the best model of a dictatorship in the whole world. Do you know how Rwanda works? In Rwanda, we have an army which is very much disciplined. We have a police. And on top of that, the government has set up another special force which is called the Local Defense Forces. The Local Defense Forces are people who are armed by the government, given uniforms. They are not paid. They threaten they control and threaten each and every one on the hills. Each and every house is controlled by them. They kill whoever they want, they save whoever they want, or they spare lives of whoever they want. So that is another force, that is a proof of a dictatorship.
They are like Stasi in East Germany.
More or less like that.
What do you expect, what do you hope for Rwanda?
My hope, and this is my dream, is to see us Rwandans around the table one day, and this will happen. Hutus and Tutsis, both sides, which have been ever in conflict, sitting around the table, discussing, solving our own problems, discussing honestly through what I define as the truth and reconciliation. And I stress on this word, truth, because we have kept on cheating the international community, cheating even our friends, anyone on the road. We should stop this and think about the truth, because only the truth will set us free.
And you're saying specifically not only the truth about 1994, but also the truth about the last 13 years.
Not only the last 1994, not only the last 13 years, but also we have to go back into history, into our history. What did the genocide happen? It did not happen, take place in one day. This is in our history. We have to go back and see, know, teach our children the past in order to plan a better future.
What is it that you expect from the international community?
My expectations from the international community is to see the international community not taking a side. In 1959, the international community took a side for Hutus 1994, the international community took a side for Tutsis. What we need from the international community is rather to help us as Hutus and Tutsis, to get together, to make it possible for all of us to get around the table and then talk. But what I have noticed is that in the international community, when some people become friendly to Hutus, they become more Hutus than Hutus themselves. They defend our cause much more than us. And when they become Tutsis, they become more Tutsis than Tutsis. And what we need from them is rather to stand and say that, listen, you guys, what you need is to talk to each other in a face-to-face.